everyone. My name is Stephanie Spilka, and I'm the host of the Tech Incubator at Queens College interview series. Today, I'm joined by Desmond the Songwriter, who is a musician that creates music that he calls a sizzling hybrid of roots reggae, dancehall, and R&B music. Welcome, Desmond. And could you give me some background on yourself before you got into music, and also what led you to being a musician?
Yes, well, thank you, Stephanie. So my mom, I grew up with a single mom, and she used to send me to church. She gave me up for adoption when I was 8 years old, and my adoptive parents at that time started taking me to church shortly after I started going to that church. This was in Kingston, Jamaica, where I grew up. A few of the prominent gospel acts in the towns in the city started buzzing around trying to book me to open for them. So I discovered my talent when I started going to church with my adoptive parents. I was 8 years old. So I actually started singing professionally when I was 8 because they booked me and paid me to sing to open for them around. So I discovered my talent. And so that's how I got into music at church and through singing gospel music with touring with around the island of Jamaica, around North America, touring reggae acts. So that's how I got into music. Yeah.
Oh, I know from listening to your music when I was preparing for this interview that you do have a lot of talent, and I really like your style of music. Does your music have a specific message or theme that you'd like the listener to get out of it when they listen?
I think my purpose is to inspire people and to uplift people. So I'm hoping every song I produce, my goal is to inspire people. Even if it's a love song, it's still supposed to be inspiring. Regardless of what the song is about, there's supposed to be some uplifting message in the music. That is my purpose, and that's why I write music. It's there for entertainment, but it's more than just entertainment. It's to provide inspiration.
Yes, of course. I think when music has a special message to it, it really adds extra dimension to it. You have experience performing, so could you tell me what your favorite moment has been?
Well, one of the things I like most about performing, writing my own material, performing my primarily songs I write, is just watching the audience and how they react when they hear a certain line or lyric in the song. Watch people respond to the lyric of the songs. That is what I like best. And just to see people singing back the lyric to me.
That's lovely. What other musical artists have inspired you in your music?
Bob Marley is one. Jimmy Cliff, Toots Hibbert, who's somebody I know personally. Those are some of them that, comes to the top of mind at the moment. I mean, I like Steve Marley's music. Some of the more current acts, I listen to Coffee and Chronics and those people as well. So it's not just the older acts, but even some of the younger acts. I listen to their music. I like the way it's produced. There's a female artist called Savannah that I like her voice, and it's beautiful. So I listen. I get inspiration from listening. There's Queen Ifrica, I like Queen Ifrica's music. So those are some of the main ones that come to mind that I listen to and I like. It inspires me.
Those are some very successful artists, I would say. To relate that a little bit to yourself, yes. What attributes of yourself would you say give you success as a musician?
It takes a lot of discipline to be a musician. First of all, it takes a long time to develop any skill, and certainly the musical, to be able to sing well, to play instruments, to write songs well, takes a lot of time and practice. And it takes some amount of discipline to get up every day and practice, even if you don't reap the reward of it immediately, because the skill is developed over a period of time. So that kind of discipline is something that I have, and that has helped me a lot with my music. The other quality that I think I have that helps me a lot is just a growth mindset. I'm always trying to see how I can be better at whatever I do, at anything I do. In music, it applies to, I play tennis. I'm pretty good at tennis, table tennis. I'm pretty good at those things. And I'm always trying to see when I play how to improve, my music or my tennis or everything I do. So that growth mindset is something that has helped me a lot.
For sure. Those are all very important. And I'm glad that you are able to use them and have them create your own success. So now on the flip side, would you say that you've had a biggest failure? And if so, how were you able to learn from it?
I don't know if my challenges or setbacks as failures. They are everything that happens to you. There's some kind of learning, see them as learning opportunities to learn and to grow. One of the challenges that I've had is just being open to the fact that while I might be somebody who has a growth mindset and who might have an eye for excellence and is always trying to do everything to the best of my ability, not everybody around you is like that. And so you have to be patient with people who might not be on the same wavelength, who you have to work with, who might not be on the same wavelength as you are. People who are not necessarily as industrious as you might be or want to be or think everybody should be. So patience. So I've had challenges with that where I might exhibit some patience to a point, but I guess the word patience in and of itself means that you never run out of patience. Because if you run out of patience, then you're no longer patient, right? So that has been a challenge I've had, just being willing to have, I guess, what you'd call unlimited patience when you're around people who might not share the same ideals or values that you have.
I think that's a great way to look at the idea of failures. It's more, like challenges and just things that work when you reflect of like your growth mindset and everything. So now I'd like to ask you, what is your relationship with us here at the Tech Incubator?
Well, I did this course 2 months ago. I think it's a business mentoring program that is sponsored by, I think, Verizon, and they're operated by the Tech Incubator of Queen's College. And then the relationship, although the training, the mentoring has technically ended, still I've maintained the relationship with the Tech Incubator, and I'm one of the best things that has ever happened to me. I mean, it's a great experience, and just the extended relationship that I'm having with Ying and the Tech Incubator has been life-changing for me. It's been really a great experience. I'm really happy. You get involved with all kinds of things from time to time, but sometimes some of them seem productive and some not so productive. And this one certainly has been paying dividends for me. So I'm really glad I got involved.
I'm very glad to hear that. I always love when everyone talks about their relationship with us and how we were able to help, because, that's our purpose. And seeing that it's really happening and working very well is always very nice to hear. Now I got another question about performances. How has the pandemic affected how you perform?
It has affected how I perform, because all most live performances in public spaces at least, were not allowed during the pandemic. So one has to get creative to find other ways to promote your music. I released my record at the height of the pandemic, which I relaunched last Friday. As you know, live performances are one of the main ways that musicians use to promote their recordings. And so what I had to do was to be more active online on Facebook and Instagram. I did a weekly, and I'm still doing actually a weekly Facebook and Instagram live on Saturday evenings at 8 p.m. My Instagram page, Desmond the Songwriter. And I also started out these Facebook and Instagram live, just sitting down or standing up and performing my songs the way I probably would normally do on a stage. But to make it more interesting, I actually took some dance lessons and started presented choreographed stagings of my Facebook and Instagram lives. And so that's what I've been doing. I took some lessons, and I had all the songs on the record choreographed with me, singing them and doing movement and all that. So that was one way that the pandemic kind of affected me in a positive way, in that I probably wouldn't have taken the time or the trouble to go learn to get dance lessons and choreograph my songs and all that if I didn't have this challenge of not doing live performances. So that was one good thing, one of the good things that came out of it for me.
That's great that you were able to create a authentic concert type experience even through Instagram Live. I always love how everyone, and now you've been able to make it into a positive answer, because the pandemic has been very devastating. And just hearing how, what advice would you give your younger self starting out? Now, you did say you started very young, so I mean, I don't know how much this can really apply to you, but at least in a way that can serve as advice for others that may want to be musicians or just start out.
The only thing I can think of is that advice I would give my younger self is you should always follow your heart. Whatever you have in your heart to do, as long as you think it's the right thing to do, even if it doesn't appear to be popular at the time, it doesn't appear to be what society or your people around you think you should do. Whatever you want, whatever is in your heart, you should follow your heart. That's the only advice. I always wanted to be, from very young, wanted to be a professional musician, but I was discouraged from that when it was time to choose a career after high school into college, for example. I was discouraged from that. There's this notion out there that music is not a real career, even though I was making money from it from very young. When it was time to choose a career to make my own choice into young adulthood, I was discouraged from following that. And I don't really live with regrets, but I could see how if I'd followed my heart and gone headfirst, gung-ho into just pursuing my dream of becoming a professional musician full-time, I could see where my life would have probably been different in a positive way. But I made it. I don't have regrets. But that's the only advice I would give to my younger self. Whatever is in your heart, as long as you think it's the right thing, just do it. If it conflicts with what people around you are telling you, if what's in your heart is in conflict with it, follow what's in your heart.
Those are very wise words for sure. Mm-hmm. And we can just see through your life story and gotten to where you are now that you are a great example of that and a very successful example. Like I said before, you have music in your bones and you are very strong and talented, and that just brings you to like the success that you are at today. So it was really like a pleasure interviewing and speaking with you today. And I hope you have success with all of your releases, which I can imagine you will. And audience, please keep your eyes out for the new singles.
Well, thanks a lot, Stephanie. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the opportunity to get the message out and the word out. Really appreciate it. Really appreciate it. And I really appreciate the tech incubator of Queen's College, life-changing, and Ying and the crew. Really appreciate it.